Guys, back. Now, we're going to talk about something today. Normally, I'm going to do another Let's Explain in Moba today, obviously, as you can tell by the title. Give me a second, sorry. Sip my tea. So normally, in this series, I try to cover a element of the game, whether or not it's a stat system, an inventory system, or something similar. I have run into a bit of a standstill. My shop system is not finished by any means. And neither is my ability system, because I don't really have a debuff, a way of applying a debuff. But my ability system, I feel, is more complete than my inventory system. Since my inventory system, it's complete, but it's quite complex, and I already have a series running talking about the inventory. So for this episode today, we're going to cover the ability section. I'm also going to do another Let's Build a Moba, where I'll actually cover the shop system, and I'll actually finish off the shop system, hopefully. And then from there we can see whether or not we can go into the shop system, but before that we'll have to go into the inventory system. The reason we can't go into the inventory system is it's quite connected to the shop system, and it requires really a two-parter for the shop system. A two-parter for the shop system, yeah. One part where I discuss how items work and maybe go for a bit on the inventory, where the other episode where I actually go into shops and how they function and stuff like that. So abilities and items have the same kind of idea. So if you have some parts of your item script that isn't really working, looking at this ability script should definitely help you. So we're going to load up our ability. We can get this going. We don't need these two. I feel like I went through it, but I don't think I did. If I did, then I've just wasted, because I deleted a bunch of episodes because I keep them for about a week, just in case something happens on YouTube, and I deleted a bunch of them today, and I felt that maybe I left one. And yeah, so one big thing I do want to talk about is, I don't think I've talked about this before. One, this is really cool, that little thing where it kind of like hovers over, that's really cool. But a big thing that I do want to talk about is this big thing here. Is that you always want to say who's made by, which is my name. That is my full name, of course. And then code can't be changed or modified or copied unless it's an affiliation of the company or its owners. So this is just a little notification just to say that so someone copies it, they can't really, well, right now they can't be changed or modified or even copied, but or modified. I think it really should be changed or modified unless an affiliation. But we're not. I'm not gonna cover the exact shenanigans of that because you guys can copy it, of course. That's why I'm showing the code. Otherwise, I wouldn't. So there's one big thing you need, which is the. Do you need this? I don't believe you do need the collection search generic. Here's my tip. Every single time you start a new Unity script, if it's a big one, you're gonna want to have generic and you're gonna want to have UI. Unity engine.ui and Unity system.collection.generic. They're the two main used ones, and maybe even link if you think you're gonna use it. But otherwise, you should be fine. They're the main ones. Now, we gotta make sure this is serializable. What does this tell? Well, this tells the computer that this script can show up in this inspector. This script has a serializable number. Now, I know this seems a bit weird while we're telling it, but we're saying that if you want to show, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Abilities. Yeah, if you want to show an ability, you can show this. If we turn off the serializable, you couldn't see any of this, right? It's basically saying that these elements can be changed and they can be modified within the inspector. It's a little bit more than that, but right now I would just say it's just basically that. You need that if you're going to show. If you don't want to show an inspector, if you don't really care, you don't need to have that, but you really should. I'm pretty sure you may even need it if you're not going to use inspector. Just always add this. If you're ever using something that doesn't have mono develop, 99% of the time you want to use system.serializable. Because mono develop actually includes system.serializable, or same very similar. Right, the same idea. Okay, so what we're here saying is we're giving it an image texture, right? And this is like the sprite texture, for example. If we look here, I love this new UI. You can see this new sprite texture over here. Now, there's actually a little... Well, I mean, it's not close to the edge, but it's kind of is a little close. So we could just move this in a little bit, and that wouldn't hurt too much. So we are just gonna make that very small change. And that shouldn't change anything else, really. We probably could change this back a bit. And then, about these. Yeah, some of these things were set up, mixed up a bit. Why am I fixing UI? I've got no clue, so we're just gonna not fix it. But yeah, you can kind of see the W. That's a W. It's a bit hard to see because of how it is, but since we're only gonna be using one right now, we will just shorten it a bit like this and like this. Alright. So now you should be able to see it a bit easier. It's still a bit hard, but it's a lot easier. You can see the W at least, and that's a little cooldown timer. Technically, we may not want to show the cooldown timer, but I am. Just for the sake I'm showing it. Okay, so what we're looking at now is that's the texture that's going to display. So as you see here, the texture that was displayed here, which I kind of want to show again, to show it. See that little texture, that little hand thing? That's the sprite. Okay. Next, we're looking at the ability ID. What this is telling is, this is saying, well, this ID is 3, this ID is 4, this ID is 5. Now, there's a few ways we can use this. It's just basically for simplicity, because you give an ID, and so we have a list of IDs. So when we attack something, we can say we attacked with ID 3, and then it can maybe go into a big database of abilities and go, okay, well, this is this ability, right? We don't really need it, but it's nice for simplicity and for things later down the line if we want to add those. So it's more just a convenience, or if we ever need ability ID, where we ask the creator of this ability to supply one, we can use that ID. Instead of having to make us go right through every item, ability, and number them properly, we do it from the start. So it's a little bit better that way. Spaces are and capitals are found in your name. This is what the ability will be called. This is not what will appear on the tooltip. This is what the ability will be called. What we see here, that's not what ability is called. If we actually look what the ability is called, which is ability is called ability test. Ability test, and see the tooltip is this. So if we had a spacebar like that, weird ass spacebar. See, it happens. It doesn't say the tooltip is equal to the name. It's just I just did it that way. But it's just a way so that you can name it within your database. This is much more apparent in saying like a item database, like an inventory, like a shop, because you want to say a search bar functionality, so you want actually names for it. But it's still very useful here. Now, the stats ability gives you. Now these are the stats that they give you. These are the flat bonuses. So this ability gives you 10% cooldown reduction. This ability gives you 10% attack speed. And these are absolute 100% flat bonuses. People don't always realize flat bonuses. When you change a bonus, what actually happens is you actually have to re-instantiate the bonus. So I'll explain what it means. But with this whole level bonus, you probably want to open up a level. So we, as you see here, we have a basic stats. We actually have no stats attached to it. But if we wanted to, we could add stats. But here we can add stats for the script, which I'll show you in a second. But the thing is, the problem about this ability system, which isn't a problem, but it's so source code. It's not source code. It's so client dependent that it's a little hard for new users. For example, if you're doing a modded community and want someone to make an ability, it'd be quite hard for them to do it because everything has to be done by them. The only thing we do is we say whether or not the ability is in its slot, and we say whether or not the ability should be running its ticks. We don't make the cooldown timer go down. We just basically give you an update function, and you have to do everything. This means that you can literally do whatever you want. You have almost infinite things. I can't even think of very few things I can think of that you can't do. Everything in League of Legends, everything in Dota you can do, right? It's much more expandable than a static system. But it also means it's a lot more work. a cooldown, you need both a ability cooldown, which is the current cooldown, and the max cooldown. Yeah, as you see, it allows the ability to work when it is 0, but you have to make this big thing, right? The max is the max cooldown. You have to incorporate. We will have to include. I'm not gonna spell it. I'm already bad at spelling, but like my mind does not want to work today. So include CD reduction, which is you can have cooldown. You can make it go down faster. You can just lower the max cooldown. It doesn't matter. You don't control that because you can control the tooltips. You control everything. Do you see what I'm saying? You literally have to control the item, which can cause problems because it means it's a little harder to just click your fingers and create one. Which is great when you're building, because I mean, especially in the future, where you're only maybe building one item every month or one item every fortnight. It doesn't really matter that it takes an hour to set up. Not an hour, but it doesn't matter. It takes like 10-20 minutes to set up. But if you're making 100 at the start, it could be a little problematic, but that's fine. The ability manager ID. Don't touch this. Okay, this is really important because this says what ID this item is in. This says, so we can say, hey, your ability ID is equal to this. This is used for when we wanted to conclude. For example, let's say we ever want you to make you move your abilities around, right? This is useful. Let's say we make you move your ability to a number 3 slot. For example, in other games, or even maybe one allowed to do in this game. If you move your ability around, we gotta keep track of every ability. Right? Also, if we want to access the index that ability 0 is at, so if we want to go through each item and give me the ID, give me that kind of index of that item, the slot that the item is in, it's kind of hard. It's not easy with our ability manager ID. Again, this is another simplicity. This is the same as the ability ID. I believe we actually use this one though. I don't remember if we use ability ID, but I do know that we use ability manager ID. The key to activate this ability. If it's blank, we will handle it as a passive. Don't worry. The code handles it. I bet though. Texture, no. Oh, damn it, we gotta fix this. Big problem here, because this will actually make it if it's passive. Actually no, we're fine. We're fine saying deactivated. Are we? Yeah, we're fine. This is not great if you, the reason this passive system is kind of bad is because it will actually, the reason it's bad is, as you see, if it doesn't have a texture, it will set to active, obviously. But if it has a texture, what's going to do is it's going to, if you don't have a key, right, obviously, then what it's going to do is it's just going to not display anything. Right, because else we kind of want to undisplay this. So this is actually not great, because what will happen is, for example, if we switch on our buttons, it'll mark it up, but we won't be. But I mean, if we don't have cooldown, then it won't actually display the cooldown. So we are actually gonna do this. Yeah, there we go. So that's a big change. I will incorporate this in my next series, just showing everyone how to do that. I just move this. It's not a big change, and if you don't have it, you just won't have a cooldown. That's not saying that you should be able to pick up yourself a little bit. If you saw it, if you're really looking for a system. I haven't touched this in quite a while, since this was a copy and paste for my inventory system, and I kept updating my inventory system, but I didn't do this one, so that's why it's gonna be a little bit like this. These are the stats that you get when you activate this ability. You shouldn't be using this one most of the time. There is a reason why. Now, the big problem with this whole shenanigan system is that especially when we're looking at this system, what we're doing is we're the problem that the ability active effects is if we give you 10% movement speed for 10 seconds. there's no indication to a player when that's going to run out. So that's where you want debuffs or buff system, that like a little thing in the bottom left corner, like a little box, and it just ticks away. You can tell when it's going to run out, and that means other players can maybe look at you from, like, LoL has a little thing where you can click on a player and it tells you the buffs or the items, stuff like that, or the stats. You can do that maybe, or whatever. It doesn't really matter, it's the fact that you can do that. Next, so you really should be using DRS system, which we'll have to go into another episode, but this way is the best way right now because we don't have a debuff system. If you're using this by itself, this is what you want. Now, this is the abilities that the ability is currently at. Basically, only for abilities that level up. All abilities really should level up. I mean, if you're not leveling up passive or whatever, that's whatever. So you don't just set it at 0. Make it not levelable. Regard. Make it so you know there's no level requirement. Now, this is the tooltip that's displayed. This is when you click on it, we just say it's activate. So only for clicking. This isn't activated when you press the key. This is to say whether or not the effects have been previously added, and whether or not we should keep adding them. So what we do is we change effects active. And we say, hey, effects active. Yes, you have the ability active because the ability has been getting a point in it. So it's got its first point or whatever, or maybe it's passive. It's always active. Regardless, you're active. And then we go, wait. You're not active anymore. Something has happened. So it will remove the effects. Simple. You'll have to add your own if you want to determine whether or not you're doing these active stats. Actually, I think these are for these. But regardless, you can use them for whatever you want. You can use this just for the ability in general, or you can use this for the ability active stats, right? Regardless, you're using the same system both ways. The current level is applied. So, what happens is we say, okay. Yeah, so we say, hey, we've applied level 2. And goes, oh, well, we are, applying level 4. Well, okay, well, we'll do level 3. Then we'll do level 4. That way, we don't quickly jump through it. I know it seems confusing, but it's a way to loop through it. And no, it doesn't make any sense, but I'll try to explain it through the usability one. See, level applied is equal to the level. So we're saying, let's say you applied the first level, and then say, hey, you just applied the first level. And then we can say, okay, you're level +1, right? But what if we're going to say, hey, we've applied level 3. Well, then we go, we may write it like, why are you applying level 3? We only have level 2. There's something wrong here. If you do a debug, you go, okay, we'll apply level 2, and then we'll apply level 3. What if you click it twice? Do you want to just apply level 3? Or do you want to apply level 2? It should apply level 2, then level 3, but you never know. It's that way. It's another simplicity. I had so many of these simplicities, and I know a lot of you probably going to be looking at this and go, there's way too many simplicities. Just way too many. It just shouldn't be like this. It just seems too many simplicities. And it just seems too much. When you're building a game like this, I'm not building a... it's not like I'm going to build a inventory system where I'm just getting the raw essentials for people. I'm actually building a game. So I'm trying to plan ahead so there's more things I cover in my early builds. So as I build on, I'm just kind of building on things instead of having to change how my system works to incorporate this new idea. So just have to close the door. And then the level required is to say, okay, you at level 3, well, this is an ultimate. We only want you to be able to put a point in this when you're level 6. So you have to be level 6. And that way, passives, you just make it like level 50. It doesn't really matter. Because as long as your current level is less than the level required, as long as your current level is less than the level required, it's not going to allow you to use it. Put a point in it. But you go, wait, but my ultimate, I don't want 3 points in it. Well, it's up for you to do it, alright? I'm just giving you a bunch of simple ones. If you wanted to do it so you wanted a specific leveling upgrade, you can go do that, right? This is what I'm saying. You know, it's not like my ability manages how you level up your abilities. It doesn't care. I see here when I mentioned leveling up. Really? Actually, I do care under ability data. I do kind of care because I say level up. Yeah, here I actually go through your that's what I'm looking for. Where is it? I'm sure it's somewhere. I know I do care somewhere. What's that? Oh, it's upgrade buttons. If value. Oh yeah, this is activates them. Yes, you see his level required. I actually so what I'm saying is I'm actually turning on the all the buttons, and I'm turning them more on if your level is like level 6. So if you're level 7, technically the buttons turn on. But what we can actually do is you can actually right now this is a problem, right? We just found a problem. Is that if you want your ability to be level 6, 12, 18, well, how do you do that? Maybe you... Oh, let me tell you the simple. I'll tell you the very, very simple thing to do. You go this and go, okay. Well, obviously it's going to show up. So obviously the level requirement has happened. So you can go, hey, your level requirement... Hey, it's now equal to 12. Or it's... plus 6. Do you see what I just did there? Yeah. So I said, hey, your level requirement, well, your level, and the thing is that you can make it so every time you put a point in an ability, you require two more levels to put another point. You could have a complex switch statements that goes, okay, well, your current level is this and this and this. Okay, oh wow, it's so confusing. You know, there's so much for it. Okay, we can work it out, and we can, okay, well, your level is this, but okay, so then we add this, and you can have this complex system. That's all up to you. You just change the level required stat. This is your update function. What we do is you just say, hey, override. Make sure you put override for both of them. You put public override void activate or level bonus. This is if you want to apply a level bonus. We say, hey, level bonus 0. And if nothing, it goes, oh, nothing. But else it will do the same. You probably want to do a level 10 function just to make sure nothing wrong happens. But so if you don't put a level bonus in, then there's no level bonus. Don't feel you have to put it in. Just don't put one in, right? Because if you don't put an override, it'll just use this one instead. 23 minutes already. We'll quickly go through the rest. Okay, well, this is your current ability. This ability thing is on. You want UI, and that's it right now. Sprite holder, a list of images. Say, for example, we'll look under here. We'll go, okay. Well, under ability, you have a few things that you only have one, but it also counts as, I believe. Wait, we'll see. So see, here's ability manager. Yep, see, sprite holder. It counts. It counts. Well, when you're getting all the abilities, it actually counts the current objects. Okay, gosh, for goodness sake. So when we're getting all the abilities here, like here we're saying it's six big, and we're getting all the components and the children. What we actually also want to do is we also actually want to. Really going to do this to me? We want to go with the upgrade buttons, and we're going to do stuff with the upgrade buttons, as you can tell. And what these do is people go, oh wait, no, these aren't the buttons that you press. These are the buttons to say how much upgrades you've got in them. Now, this will have a problem for some people, because some people will be like, oh, this is a problem, because some my abilities, I don't want to have certain, you know, I want maybe none to show. I want maybe 5 upgrades. That's fine. I've just included 4. It's not too hard to change it to whatever, because all it cares about is how big the sprite hold is. So I can move this, and you would have to do it yourself, right? So we'll move this, and then we will obviously probably have to make them all 6, I would assume. And there we go. See, same thing, no difference. So if you wanted more or less, you could do that. And you could have your own script where you instantiate them in and do a horizontal layout. That's not too hard. I mean, come on, that seems pretty easy. You just gotta name them properly and stuff like that. Okay. We're taking with accountability. It's accountability that we have on whether or not the texture exists or it doesn't exist. So this is where it doesn't exist, and this is where it exists. So if it doesn't exist, so there's no texture or the texture is blank or whatever, then just turn off the game object. That way we only get like the white thing. See this little white box, we don't get that. If it does have a texture, then turn it on and bam, give it that texture. Give the little white box that texture, so it displays the hand or whatever item you have, ability, whatever ability you have. Here we're checking whether or not you have a key, and if you have a key, then display the key. Simple. Doing the same thing over here. If your cooldown is greater than 0, this is amazing for passives, because some passives you want to happen every 5 seconds, but you don't want to have a key in them. Same, right? What this says is you want 1 point and then 1 point after decimal place. So a digit and a point after the decimal place. If I do something like this, what you will see is you will see 0 here. Great, isn't it? I can press W. What the frick? Then what thing ability is this? Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's my level. Okay. See what I'm saying? This thing. So what I would do, it's kind of hard to say, so I've just included 1. But what you really want to do is you kind of want to basically display it, but to 1 decimal point. So if I press it, you want this to happen, right? So we want my level, or wherever it is here, to kind of move down to over here. And so what we kind of want to do here is probably, I mean, I'm not going to really touch this too much, but you could do whatever you want, right? We really only care about the point 0, so, but if we do just point 0 like this, what happened is it should maybe just display the point 0. No, if you put point 0, it will, it seems like if you put point 0, it will include every one before the decimal place and everything after. And only 1 decimal after, but I can't say for certain. But regardless, so hey, if your level applied is greater than 0, basically saying we've applied a level to it, then what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one, and we're going to set that sprite holder for that current one to green. Why are we plussing 2? Because the first 2 are going to be the object of ability handler, which is this kind of border thing, and the second one's going to be the white box. And then for everyone after that will be those little circles. So we're going I plus 2. And we're turning all of them green. When we press it, we activate it. It's the activate button. When we add a level, we go unused points. We check if you actually have unused points. If you do, then we apply a level. We go, hey, you have a level. And we apply of your level applied. Now the reason that we apply for your level applied is that if we just apply it off the ability level, it could have problems. But I can't imagine do, but like, just do it this way, it's easier. And then we're minusing the unused abilities, and then we're checking if it equals 0. If it does, then we're deactivating the buttons. Otherwise, just keep them up. There's no need to deactivate them. 30 minutes. I don't think we'll get through Ability Manager. Not in time. I will just go for it. These are all our panels. Each of our abilities is under a panel. I don't know why it's 9. That's a really big number. But you see here. Ability panels. See? 6. Each ability has a panel. Ability panels, we're just saying all abilities. Our abilities is just to track the literal code of them. So basically we're tracking all these little variables under our abilities, but under ability panels we're actually tracking the objects that contain them, if that makes sense. So our abilities we're actually tracking the abilities themselves, but ability panels we're tracking like these little boxes. Abilities instance is the exact same as every other instance. It's a way so we can access this object from other things. Number of abilities. How many abilities do we have? Unused points. How many unused upgrade points do we have? Upgrade buttons. The upgrade buttons. Literally just that, the few little buttons. Seeing how big our upgrade buttons, we have 5 upgrade buttons, obviously. We could do it to our ability panel.length or whatever. Doesn't really matter. It should actually be 6. Don't know why it's 9, but it is. We're going for each ability panel and we're saying, okay, the ability panel is equal to this, where we're just finding objects, doing the same for upgrade buttons, we're just holding variables, and then we're activating buttons to turn them all off, right? Because we got to activate, to like find them, they've got to be on, so we have to turn them off afterwards. But maybe we don't, because maybe we want to have to have level 1 start, so that's where we could do that. Start. This is where we add ability. Simple. Add ability. These are basically where we add each of the abilities, but we don't add it under the ability manager. We'd add it under another script, like a character portrait script, or I can't remember what it's called, starting character stats or whatever. That's unique to each character, and then each character would have their own little sheet that says, hey, add this ability, maybe add a special item if they've got it. And this way is just to add it. This is the script for adding ability. You give them your ability, and if we actually have enough ability slots for it, then what we do is we just say it's equal to that ability. And then we say the manager ID is equal to the number of abilities and plus plus. So we do actually use manager ID. I don't remember where else we use it. So what we do is we go for each one and we say, we look at the ability panels and we say, okay, the little component called ability data to contain what the current ability that you have is equal to our abilities. The reason we do this is because our abilities are constantly updated by update functions, so thus we have to make sure the ability panels are getting the information too. So getting like the cooldown reductions, the cooldowns and stuff like that. And we're just saying that we'll activate. Right? There's a difference between activate and what we've done over here, which is activate. See the big difference? There's a little boolean. That boolean says we've just pressed it. This activate is basically just doing the update function, okay? If unused points is greater than 0, then we're activating the buttons. Simple. You could probably deactivate them, then they would come back up again, but I mean, hey, doesn't really matter. Activate buttons. Give me a value of whether or not you want to turn it on and off. We're going for each one. If the value is true, we're just saying if the value is true, then what we do is we go, okay, well, ability data, we're getting a copy of that ability panel. So we're going, okay, we're going for each button, right? And we're going, okay, well, if that current ability actually has a texture, because if it doesn't have a texture, then there's something wrong, and we just don't want to have that little button up, because that could cause problems. So if that ability doesn't have a texture, and the level required to upgrade that ability is less than or equal to our, just less than our level, and that should be, because if our level is 18 and we require 18, we need to be, our level required has to be less than our level, or equal to, yes, that's fine. So if the level requires 18, we're 18, we're fine. If the level requires 17 and we're 18, we're fine. Okay. Then what we're doing is we're just going to say, hey, activate the button, you're true. Else, we say you're false. We technically could put false and true in here, but this is where it's a little bit different. It's the same thing. I think we're done. Holy cow, I really sped through that at the end because we're up to 35 minutes. That's a very long episode because I kind of went through things a bit slower. I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things. It's very hard to cover these ones. Eventually with the shop system and everything, I will be able to cover all of it, but we will try. If I don't, I'll split these up. But right now, a 35-minute episode's a bit long, but I will keep it at 35 minutes. Tell me guys if you want. Actually, I'll probably split up into 20 and 15. 20 minutes covering like the first little bit, and then 15 minutes covering probably just the ability manager itself.